Well, Colin, first of all, I gotta say I appreciate you giving me your time. And obviously, since you've been racing, the military causes have been real important to you.
Yep.
First of all, what really made you want to, put a spotlight on veterans and military causes on your car and everything else?
So both my brothers are active Army right now, and I kind of grew up around the military my whole life. I've had a family member in every American conflict throughout history, so it's always been a thing that's been in my life. My grandfather was Army, so it's just always been a thing. And then I recently partnered up with Racing for Heroes. I say recently, it was in 2019, and I was around special operations guys all the time, and I heard their stories and see what they go through, and that kind of developed into creating the 1111 Veteran Project.
The 1111 Veterans Project, when you think of that, what comes to your mind?
Hopefully it's an organization that can help veterans, that we can grow to be, a big global thing. That would be really cool, and hopefully we can get enough partnerships that we can help all these nonprofit organizations like Race for Heroes, Tech for Troops, and just get our voices out there.
Now, one neat thing that I don't remember, I guess this must happen after I talked to you the first time, the tactical driving schools that you do for the veterans military.
Yep.
Talk about how that started and what's it like helping in that way too?
Yeah. So when we started working with Racing for Heroes a few years ago, it started off just as a partnership, and then it started growing up in a little more, and we started talking about what could we do to help each other out. And I started actually as an instructor over there, and we instruct all sorts of life that come through there. We have missionaries, we have different special operations groups, we have just regular Air Force guys that come through, and it's a good time. You get to meet a lot of cool people, and you get to help guys that are currently active serving, and it's a good time.
And then, part of it is the Hilarious, that organization too.
Yep.
That's part of the mix. And I've heard a lot of great things about that.
Yep.
What's it like being partners with them as well?
Yeah, Hilarious is a new thing that we just brought on actually in the last month or so, and their organization is actually really cool. These veterans, they've obviously gone through some dark times, and they try to divert that into making that into humor. It's not a thing that a lot of guys can do, but they try to help people do that, and it seems to help a lot, and they have a really good program going with that.
What are some of the responses you've gotten from not only veterans but current military members? Because not a lot of drivers and not a lot of people are doing what you're doing,
right?
Whether it's in racing or sports or whatever. But what are some of the responses and some of the things you've gotten from veterans and military members?
I think it's the camaraderie at the track. The amount of people that we have come by that are veterans. There's been a few people out here in the SRO paddock that have just seen what's on our car, and they come by and say hi, and they may be working for another team, but they just want to learn more about it and what they can do to help and be a part of it. It's been really cool to see all sorts of different teams, crew members coming over here and seeing that. And then obviously the fans, they see it, and then after the races they're like, oh, what's that about? What's that about? So it's been really cool.
So overall, how many veteran/military organizations are you connected with? It seems like it's a long list.
Yeah, it's a relatively long list. We're constantly growing, and we're still relatively small, but I feel like every week we're working on a different organization that we're trying to help out more and more. And it's all about the partnerships, and hopefully we can create those longer or for a longer run. And it's been a cool deal, and hopefully it can just continue to grow.
And I remember when we talked before, your main goal is to make it up to the highest level in NASCAR. You've had a taste of it, obviously racing Xfinity. What do you feel is the biggest thing you've learned as a driver about yourself?
That's a good question. That is a really good question. Growing up watching Formula One, you have a lot of drivers that are. Oh, let's restart this. Yeah. Watching Formula One growing up, you learn a lot about the history and stuff, and there's a few drivers back in the day, specifically Alan Prost. He's always like the doctor, and he's a really good person that I've kind of learned how to just read stuff on track. He was always very analytical about everything that happened on the track, and I feel like that's kind of what I've learned about myself, is that I've really can take a step back and just watch everything that's going on and try to execute properly instead of just kind of going out there and winging it. So.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned before family is important in the military. You got several family members that are serving and have served. What is the biggest thing you learned from them that you've applied to your racing and just your life in general?
That is a really good question. Yeah, the whole family thing, you know, we talk about Racing for Heroes. A few of those guys, man, they're like brothers to me now, and I see them all the time. And actually, a few of them are here with us this weekend. And I would say it's honestly that it's the brotherhood of everybody, you know, whether it's the race team or it's those guys, you know, it's just having that bond with your guys and being able to, you know, carry that on every week, you know, no matter the highs or lows, you know, just keeping that through.
So I guess you mentioned that. I mean, obviously there's adversity, but it probably doesn't compare to adversity if you're serving our country. And obviously, it seems like you've learned that a lot too. That the adversity that people that are not in the military serve or have is different than someone that is serving.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That has definitely been a big part. The thing with the racing that Racing for Heroes has kind of brought in is that the racing has helped a lot of guys kind of get that feeling of the adrenaline back. They get to really feel that adrenaline rush again, I guess you could say, and it's been really cool. But again, with the brotherhood, they get to be back working on a car with guys, and you know, it's cool to see. So,
how would you like to see this grow? I mean, because it's starting off. I mean, you talking about you've been doing this for the last 4 years. You know, with your passion and dedication to military causes and veterans, how far would you like to see this go? What is your end goal with all this?
We don't really have an end goal right now. I mean, we just like to see it get as big as possible. You know, we are talking with a few companies right now that this could blow up to be pretty big and be a thing that can help veterans all over. You know, that's been a big part. It's just veteran outreach. It's relatively hard if you don't have a big voice, and you know, we're just trying to get that voice to you know, all across the nation. So.
Well, and the neat thing is what NASCAR does with the Mission 600.
Yep.
You know, obviously with that and the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yep.
Do you get involved with that aspect of it too?
I have not yet. No. So.
Has anyone with NASCAR reached out to you with this?
Not really. NASCAR hasn't really helped out a whole bunch with it. So, you know, they definitely have been working on some things that they obviously, you know, the Coca-Cola 600, all the drivers carry a name on the banner, but you know, I think there's definitely room for improvement there.
So I know we talked about this before too, but where do you see your driving career? Because I mean, you're off to a strong start, but where do you want to be, you know, say 5-10 years from now?
Yeah, 5-10 years from now, you know, I'd love to get back into NASCAR if I could. I've found a little nice home in sports cars right now. It's been super fun. You know, it's obviously we've had really great success here with Rooster Hall Racing. You know, I'd be happy to go run a World Endurance Challenge or IMSA or something like that too. So it'd be really cool. And then, you know, obviously Formula One would always be awesome, but long shot. But you know, the IMSA paddock or the NASCAR paddock. I mean, I think those would be doable.
How neat is it to be racing? You know, you race here. This is basically your home track.
Yep. Yep.
How neat is it to come and race at your home track, you know, on weekends like this?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, this is definitely the coolest thing. You know, I woke up at my house this morning and I got up about 30 minutes before I had to be here, and I drove over, and it was nice and easy. So, you know, it's definitely been a challenge, you know, traveling all over the country racing, and, you know, coming back home, it's always awesome to just see everyone you already know and be able to go back home. Like, that's the big story.
If somebody wanted to get a hold of you guys just to be a part of what you're trying to do from a military standpoint, how would they do that, or what can they do? Or is there a place they can reach you?
Yeah, so the 1111 Veteran Project does have a website, so 1111veteranproject.com, and then my own website, colingarrettracing.com, and then social media is Colin Garrett Web across all platforms. So.
Is there anything else you want to add, or anything I missed, or did we cover everything?
I think we covered a good part, yeah.
Very good. So. And just with room to spare for you to get ready to get in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.